Hey everyone, welcome to Fyntology Films. Today we're going to be reviewing Avengers Endgame. This movie has been highly anticipated. It's probably the most anticipated movie of this year, and let's get on with the review. I just want to say that this is completely my opinion. You guys might disagree or agree with this. That's completely your choice. So with that out of the way, let's get started. So, Avengers Endgame. This movie has been highly anticipated in 2019 after the events of Infinity War, which was probably the greatest cliffhanger in the history of cliffhangers. Now, I gotta say, this movie felt more like a cultural phenomenon than a movie, because people were lining up for this movie. This movie was so highly anticipated, and everyone wanted to see what the MCU does with the characters they love and know. First off, let's talk about the things I did like in this movie. So, one of the best things about this movie is the opening. It does a really great job of showing what the Avengers are feeling and how Thanos' snap affected all of the people alive in the universe right now, including Hawkeye, who this movie does a really good job of showing his despair and his desperateness in the moment, and how he was not thinking rationally and blamed everyone else for the killing of his own family. Also, how cool was the scene when Tony was playing paper football with Nebula? Another thing I really like about this movie is the character development between Captain America and Tony Stark. Let's talk about Tony first. So, I really like what they did with his character in this movie. They showed him becoming a father and his relationship with his daughter, and how he blamed himself for the death of Peter Parker and everyone else who was wiped out by Thanos' snap. To take risks because he did not want to lose the only family he had, which was Pepper and his daughter. This movie does a really good job of completing Tony's arc and his death, which I do not mind, by the way, because there is nothing they could do with his character better than this. And I really like how the ending shows his funeral and how everyone is mourning for him. Even the kid from Iron Man 3 is there. Now, coming to Captain America, this one is more complicated because I did not like what they did with his character in the end. In the whole movie, they showed a lot of development in his character and how he was willing to do anything to save his family, his friends, and the world. So, at the end, when he returns from giving back the Infinity Stones, they just show him growing old with Peggy, and which is very uncharacteristic of him and does not make much sense because it leads to a lot of plot holes. Also, it's just my opinion. I think the shield should have been passed down to Bucky instead of Sam. Another thing I want to talk about, which I really liked in this movie, was the direction. Hats off to the Russo brothers for the scenes like when Captain America picks up Thor's hammer and Thor is just like, I knew it. That scene was so powerful and gave everyone goosebumps. The last act of this movie was amazing. As soon as Thanos enters, the movie takes a completely different turn, and the battle between Thanos and the Avengers is awesome. It had a lot of great scenes, like the moment when Doctor Strange opened the portals, and Black Panther and everyone else who disappeared from Thanos' snap just enters, and the scene between Tony and Peter Parker was very emotional and a really good scene in my opinion. Now let's talk about the stuff I did not like about this movie. Well, right off the bat, the first thing that comes to my mind is humor. This movie had a lot of untimely humor and forced humor in serious scenes that did not need. Marvel is notorious for adding humor scenes in between serious scenes to calm the audience, but this movie does not do a good job of that. One of the things I did not like about this movie was Thor. In Infinity War, we are presented with a Thor who's heroic and is very powerful with the thunderbolts and everything, but in this movie he's just shown as a drunk guy with a big belly who does not even do much. And it was funny for a while, trust me, but a Lebowski ripoff does not do much for a movie like Avengers Endgame. And almost everyone had expectations with characters like Thor after Infinity War, but this movie butchered my expectations. Another character this movie does not do much for is Thanos. In Infinity War, Thanos is shown as a titan with a purpose. He wants to wipe out half the universe because he has a purpose. He has ambition because he believes that wiping out half the population will conserve the resources and make the world a much better place. Now, I agree, there are some problems with that, but at least he had a sense of purpose and he knew what he had to do. But in this movie, he's just shown as a mad titan with no sense of purpose or emotion. He just wants to destroy the universe. Now, I was kind of disappointed by that, and this movie did disappoint me in a few things, but I'd say this is an overall enjoyable movie, but it felt like the conclusion had a bad writing and it felt kind of rushed. But this movie was enjoyable for me, and I agree it was enjoyable for a lot of people too, especially MCU fans. And I'd give this movie an 8 out of 10. Let me know your ratings and feedback for this movie in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to Fyntology for more quality content.